Patreon is an interesting one because if you are providing value, people will support you. If you look at Aaron Ciotti has started doing live streams. He's not really at a point where he gets enough views. I would guess. I mean, I don't know any secrets about his channel, but I would guess he's not getting that much in ad revenue. But people really value what he does, and they join his Patreon, and it does add up. The key thing is to help people and provide value. As long as you are doing that, then hopefully, people will value that and will support you. How to make a living at it, here's how I got to the point where I could do this full time. Do it full time for like 3 years for free. And then eventually you get to a point where you could quit your day job. But there was at least 2 years where in addition to having a day job, I was spending every spare minute working on the channel. And now I spend the same amount of time, but it's my day job too. Anyway. Budget FPV says, have you thought about trying to get a set of goggles on the FAA people? Budget, it's a tough one because on the one hand, there is a sense in which the FAA doesn't really know who we are. But in another sense, I like the idea that you would put FAA goggles on the administrator of the FAA and suddenly she'd be like, whoa, this is so awesome. What were we doing? I don't see that. I don't see that happening. Wow. Big Oily Guy says, Bardwell tore that DRL track up. Well, maybe. I mean, I feel like I gave it my all, but I was only 275 at the time, which is not that good. Shadow FPV, I also worry about someone not affiliated with us flying a drone around. I hope that doesn't happen. It's someone who wanted to mess us up certainly could do that, and we wouldn't look good. Excuse me. I'm a little sniffly this morning, or this evening. Wilbo in the Discord says, is the USB charging mod for the T16 coming soon? I think you mentioned it was coming down the pipe. Yeah, I can confirm. Jumper has reached out to me and showed me photos of the USB-C and USB charging mod that they will be releasing soon. Basically, you change out the USB board. The USB plug is on a full circuit board, so it's easy to change out. Just change the ribbon cable, and then there's an additional set of wires that will solder up to a point, and will let you have internal charging. So that's coming from Jumper. I really expected. Here's the thing: when Radio Master announced that their TX16S radio, which is basically just a Jumper T16, just made by Radio Master, when they announced that would have USB-C and internal charging, I thought, well, clearly Jumper's just going to do this. It's not like, oh, how did they accomplish this? So I was like, clearly Jumper is going to do the same thing. But I'm really impressed that Jumper is releasing it as a mod that you can apply to your existing radio instead of just updating the radio and saying everybody who bought the old radio is screwed. Jumper has really impressed me when they released the internal multi-protocol module. They made it available to everybody, and you could just spend $10 and have it instead of having to buy a whole nother radio. So it's very, very nice that they're doing that, and that I don't know exactly the timing on it, but it is coming. You're always scared, 'cause you're gonna lose it all. You're so scared, 'cause you're gonna lose it all. Zach Cagesley says, after I made my comment, I looked through the rest. There were a lot of really good comments, but I'm highly concerned that a lot of the comments are only referencing saving their balsa wood airplanes. Yeah, I mean, what can you do about that? There's nothing you can do. Some people are going to approach this from a perspective of, screw the FPV pilots, screw the DJI pilots, we just want to fly our balsa wood airplanes. The willingness to throw people under the bus in the face of injustice, it's a natural instinct. It is a harmful instinct. I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed, but not really disappointed because you kind of see it coming. You'll see this in any movement where people are threatened. The first thing they do is they turn on themselves, and it doesn't change the fact that all of us are threatened in the same way. So the more infighting we have, the worse off we all are going to be. And not everybody is going to feel that way or realize that.
A laptop?
Some people are always going to want to save themselves and at the expense of somebody else. There's nothing you can really do about that, though. Zach Kegley, remote ID, not for me. That's not bad. That's pretty good.
Oh, you're so stupid.
Remote ID, not for me. That's not bad. That's not bad.
So why do you have the option for it though? So
remote ID. How about?
Oh, you're a fucking moron.
How about something about the Freas? I want a picket sign that says "The whole world is my Freya."
Get you fucked with, you stupid fuck.
Remote ID, not in class G.
You are going to jail. I'm getting you.
Bill Riffett asks, have you had a chance to look at the new Eachine goggles? The Eachine EV300D. My review of the Eachine EV300D is coming tomorrow. And I'm also super annoyed that Albert Kim, I think it's him. He released his on Monday or Sunday. And I was like, ooh, you beat me. You beat me. Damn it. Damn it.
You don't even know what's happening to you.
Remote ID, not in class G.
You don't even know.
Yeah. Captain Morgan in the Discord. Thank you for being a patron, Captain Morgan. Captain Morgan is in my Discord server with all my other patrons for as little as $2 a month or more if you feel like I've earned it. You can join my Discord or join my Patreon and be a member of my Discord server. Captain Morgan in the Discord says between the HDOs and the HDO2s, is it so much of a difference to make the jump of coming from the HD3s? Captain Morgan, that's a very good question. So, in my opinion, the HDO2 is definitely $100 better than the HDO. Okay? So, if you assume the HDO is $400 and the HDO2 is $500, don't look twice. Get the HDO2. However, the HDO2, some people have problems with their eyelashes brushing against the sort of curved lens of the goggle. I don't have that problem. I use the Nubidrone goggle foam, which is thicker, and I think that's why I don't have that problem. But that's easy to fix. Just spend $10 on the Nubidrone goggle foam, you're done. The other thing is, the HDO2s have like a round lens sort of holder, and then a square screen in there, and some people find the outline, like I just don't even see it when I'm flying. I just don't even see it, but some people feel that that's a little distracting and prefer the style of optics on the HDO. But speaking purely of the optical quality and the size of the image, the HDO2 is better. I think it's better, no question, than the HDO, and I feel like it's definitely $100 better than the HDO. Yeah.
So you cannot connect the laptop VPN, huh? Ooh, you're a fucking moron. Okay.
John Coopy, I'm going bonkers right now trying to find what letter ESC I used before flashing JESC. Where do I find that in BL Heli Suite 32? John, BL Heli Suite 32? BL Heli 32 ESCs don't use JESC. JESC is for BL Heli SESCs. The good news is you don't need JESC. You can just try 48 kilohertz PWM. It's built in to BL Heli 32. So you don't need JESC if you have BL Heli 32. You're all good. All right, it's about 20 minutes into the live stream. Let's get some super chats out of the way. Thank you to everybody who has donated via super chat. William Croth, thanks for $2. Sup, William? Easy peasy. Zimmergy JWT, thank you for $2. Bitefrost Shark Bite released in spring. As like a pro, I feel like I should know what Shark Bite is, but I don't know what Shark Bite is. What is Shark Bite? Is it like I'm going to guess it's a digital module, goggle module? Bitefrost release in spring. Bitefrost is already released, right? What is Shark Bite? Somebody tell me. Shark Bite. Somebody tell me what that is. I don't know what that is. I haven't heard anything, Zymer G. Thank you for your super chat. I haven't heard anything, though. Ho Operator, thank you for $5. The new FAA rules are in violation of U.S. Code 241 and 242, I believe. Here's what I would say. Here's what I would say about that. I don't know what U.S. Code 241 and 242 is, but if you feel like you have a legal challenge to remote ID, that's all just us sitting around drinking at the pub. I'm American. I don't know why I said the pub. The bar. The pub. Anyway, I have an international audience. It's all just sitting around bullshitting, if I may speak freely. Because unless you are going to hire a lawyer or find a lawyer, like from the ACLU, to sue the FAA, so the thing is, when someone breaks the law and no one holds them to account, they get away with it. So if the FAA is violating U.S. Code 241 and 242, no one, doesn't matter unless you're going to sue them over it. Now, if you can convince a lawyer to sue them, more power to you. But I will say that just because unless you are a lawyer yourself, versed in federal law, just because it looks like something breaks the law on the surface to a lay person, oftentimes you talk to a lawyer and they go, oh no, the words don't mean what it sounds like they mean. And they tell you why it doesn't actually have a case. So I wish that were true, Ho Operator. It may or may not be true, but if we're not going to sue them, it doesn't really matter. Underdog FPV, thank you for $5. In your Orca interview, they mentioned trying to partner with DJI for future products. Have you heard anything more about this? I have only... Orca likes to waggle their eyebrows at you and go, yes, maybe. It's unclear what they actually have cooking. At the moment, they seem to be working very hard on delivering goggles to customers. That seems to be the thing people are most interested in. What they might be doing in the future, I don't know. It would be fantastic if they did have a digital goggle module that was DJI capable.
Decline. Push the decline twice already.
For the time being, though, who knows? I don't have any information. That's all I can say. Kim Kalfas Jr., thanks for $5. Mic drop! Thank you, Jim. Rod Clark, thank you for £10. What analog receiver could you recommend for DJI goggles that is not a module-based receiver? Rod, I got to tell you, the best analog receivers these days are module-based receivers. There are some ground stations, but they just don't have the latest technology. I mean, I guess I would point you at the Clearview ground station if you just absolutely don't want a module. But why wouldn't you just spend $15 on that little bracket adapter for the DJI goggles and use a module like a Rapidfire, a True DX of TBS Fusion? Any of those modules are going to do a great job. If you absolutely want a ground station, I guess I would point you at the Clearview ground station. It's really expensive, though, and it doesn't perform that much. I mean, is it better than Rapidfire? I mean, it's at least as good, but it's like 4 times, 3 times, 2 times more expensive, whatever it is now. Matt Miller says it is possible to crowdfund legal representation. Yeah, I would be all for it. I mean, I do feel like I would really like someone to sue the FAA over this. But what we need is a professional lawyer who is an expert at suing the government and interpreting federal law. Just you and me sitting around and going, hey, Code 241 seems like it's pretty good. What about U.S. versus Cosby? No, you need an expert to tell you how to make this work. And I think that's harder. But that expert might be out there. I mean, Brendan Schulman defended Trappy against the FAA. He works for DJI now. Maybe someday he will be in, maybe DJI will sue the FAA over this. Nah, that probably won't happen. It would be so cool if it did, though. Zach Cagley, thanks for $5. Zach, I hope I'm saying your name right. I hope it's not Cagely, but there's no E after it, so I hope it's Cagley. JJB, love all you do for us. Please put this towards your FAA comment efforts. Thank you, Zach. Daniel Cole, thanks for $2. Drone ID only makes them happy. I'm not sure it's punchy enough.